welcome to this week's edition of Bison Talks IMPACT. And today, I'm going to be joined by my brother from another mother, Joe-ker. Hello, brother, you all right?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, mate. I'm really good. I'm pleased to have you back. I know that obviously this is not an edition of Impacted. I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. But I'm just really excited to have you back home. You're looking really well. You've got your Total Nonstop Impact t-shirt on. You know, nice, cleanly shaven. So it's great to have you back.
Gone full Eric Young.
Full Eric Young. Exactly. That's exactly what we're talking about here. Full Eric Young. I love it. So did you see my interview with Eric actually?
I did. Yeah, I loved it. And I thought the one with Jimmy Jacobs was probably, I've said it to you before, it's the best one you've done. And it was a real eye-opener for me. You know, Jimmy Jacobs is fantastic. And I didn't know he'd been wrestling so long.
Oh, it's unbelievable, isn't it? 20 years, I think.
Yeah, I've seen him at Ring of Honor. And I've forgotten he teamed with Seth Rollins as well. But then that's just my knowledge of guys in WWE. I knew Seth Rollins was in Ring of Honor. I just didn't know when. But to have him and Jimmy Jacobs, I want to see what those guys can do now, because Seth Rollins is quite an impressive athlete.
That's true. Okay, so it's great to have you back. And obviously, you know, I wanted to bring you on to Bison Talks Impact because at the end of the day, we were going to do I wanted to do a kind of a discussion thing with regards to Emergence Night 2. I've already done Night 1. Unfortunately, you couldn't join me last week, which is a shame. But I did a solo one that went out, it went out on Monday. Today is obviously Wednesday morning, about 10:30. So we both of us have literally come fresh off watching the show here in the UK. What are your initial thoughts before we sort of kind of get slap bang into the whole thing? What are your initial thoughts on Emergence Night 2?
Oh God, I've caught up with all the Impact I've missed since April, and the transformation that's happened on the roster and production and everything's just blown me away. Slammiversary was fantastic, and they've just continued the momentum on right through Emergence, and Emergence Night 2 was pretty impressive as well. Yeah,
I mean, I think Night 1 was a pretty solid show.
Yeah.
Obviously I've done my sort of kind of review and thoughts on that, and I do think it was a solid show. But again, I think tonight it sort of kind of stepped up a notch. I was actually expecting, before we get into the review, I was expecting EC3 to turn up. Okay, we got another promo from him, but I was expecting him to actually be there and do something specific tonight, but he wasn't. So for me, that was that was a little bit disappointing for me. But then that's my expectations as opposed to what the show has got, in store for us, But I think overall, I think it's going to be, it was definitely a cracking show.
It's going to be worth the wait when EC3 finally gets in the ring.
I think you could, I think you could be right there. I think you could be right. I just want to remind everybody that we, as Bison Talks Impact and Impacted, once we start getting back into those again, are all exclusively via the Total Nonstop Impact Network, via YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, we are there. So don't forget to head over to your favorite podcast outlets, hit subscribe for Total Nonstop Impact. So that way you'll never ever miss any of our great content that we bring out every single week. I know that Joe's been in hospital. He's been listening to quite a lot of the shows and watching quite a lot of the YouTube content. I think that's probably helped keep you sane, Joe. Is that right?
Oh yeah, it's helped me keep me sane, and watching the highlights of Impact has kept me sane. Hungry to actually get down and watch it fully. And I've been speaking to some of the guys on the roster, especially Kylie Ray, Eddie Edwards, Michael Elgin when he was on there. Say what you like about Michael Elgin. He was pretty supportive. Eddie Edwards and Kylie Ray were fantastic as well. And Crazy Steve. Oh, God, I can go on. And John Morrison as well, actually. Has been in contact a couple of times as well.
Oh, mate, really?
Yeah. just a thumbs up on that as a bit for a bit of feedback. But he's gotten back to me, which is quite nice.
Oh, mate, that's really, really good. And of course,
showing my support for Ty Valkyrie, so he appreciates that.
Oh, I'm sure he does. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Ty has been pretty amazing over the last sort of 12, 18 months. So, I think most of the stars of the rosters, they recognise their fans, and I think they appreciate all the efforts that we put in as fans, not just us as podcasters or whatever, but all the fans that are sharing their stuff on social media, that are offering their support, whether it be no matter what promotion they're in. I mean, we particularly support the Impact guys, but I know you're a big Chris Jericho fan, so and I'm sure you keep a little bit up to date on a lot of the AEW stuff.
Yeah,
I don't want to mention too much about that, as this is an Impact show. But I think it's always nice to see the amount of support that you get from everybody within the industry. I think it's great. I mean, I've reached out to loads, as you know. I mean, I've had discussions with EY and lots. Jake Christ and Chris Bay and the current X Division champion Rohit Raju. Again, if you've not watched that interview, make sure that you look through the TNI UK channel and check that out, because Rohit is an incredible guy, and I think I think you'll get to know him really, really well in that interview. He does some cool stuff, as well as a really good promo on me, which I thought was really good.
The promo was fantastic. I really enjoyed the promo.
Yeah, that was good, man. So anyway, we're getting a little bit off track here because we haven't spoken for so long, Joe. Not like in this kind of format. I think we're getting a bit off track, aren't we, mate?
Oh, a little bit. Let's get on with it.
Let's get on with this show. We don't want any of this cutting the mic business going on, do we? No. Right. Okay. So again, another great cold opening. We had the build into the show. I think it built up really, really well. A lot of the sort of kind of the backstories being built up for what we were obviously later to see match wise and etc. through the show. What did you think of the cold opening?
The opening, it set the tone really. It didn't dwell too much on Emergence Night 1. It just went straight to the point and what this night's about instead.
Yeah, I think perfect. I think it was a perfect cold call, and that was great. I did like where they showed, obviously where they were showing the build up to the main event.
Yeah.
I like the way that they sort of kind of portrayed that in the cold opening as well, which was really good. So another great cold opening. I mean, I say that pretty much whenever I review a show, because I just think that they do such a good job at putting those sort of kind of those little packages together. It's a little 3-minute snippet, isn't it? And it just, the music, the voiceover, the clips that they use, it's just all really, really good. So I really, really like them.
Grabs your attention straight away.
Oh, yeah, straight off the bat. And then, of course, what do we get? The entrance of Eddie Edwards, now, and has been now obviously since Slammiversary, the Impact World Champion. And, I don't know about you, but I think he is he's I know it's a bit cliche, but he is the champion that Impact needed, I think, and we needed as fans.
Definitely.
I mean, nothing to take away from Tessa's run, but at the end of the day, I just feel that the fan base was split. It was very much kind of like you were either into Tessa being the world champion, appreciate the work that she was doing, which I did, or you're like, oh, this is a joke, a woman shouldn't be champion.
Yeah.
And I did think that kind of split the fan base a little bit. Was it a good thing to do? Yeah, of course it was. But it's done. It's done now. They've done it. And I think it could have quite easily have put the championship on someone like Ace Austin.
Definitely.
They could have quite easily,
especially after Rebellion building up to the original way Slammiversary was going to pan out.
Yeah, I mean they could have done it easily, but I think that the option to put it on Eddie, the guy that is the cornerstone of the company. He's been
Pinnacle
there
of
for
pro wrestling.
he's been there for what?
Hashtag
7
Pinnacle of
years?
pro wrestling.
Oh, without doubt. I mean, he's been there for what, 8 years, I think, or 7 years or something crazy.
About 8 years now, I think.
Yeah, he's put in the time, he's put in the work. He's gone from being a baby face to a heel to now what I class as a tweener, because he can sort of kind of go, he could go full crazy heel, and he can also go, sort of kind of, I don't know what you call it, like superstar face or whatever you want to call it. The super nice guy type. So he could do, but he could do it all. And we all still love him. When his music hits, you're like, yes, it's Eddie. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I do.
I felt that as well. When I watched the show live and stuff, the crowd all of a sudden go crazy. I mean, obviously we don't have any crazy at the moment, but as soon as Eddie's music hits, everyone pays attention. And I think that is exactly why Eddie was exactly the right choice to become the champion for the next, I don't know, maybe it'd just go up to Bound for Glory and somebody would take, I don't know. I mean, we find out that next week he's got EY. I'd be very surprised if he loses to EY at this time.
Yeah, I'd leave it to Bound for Glory or sometime next year.
Yeah, I think his run wouldn't be long enough if that even though he's been fighting every single week, I just don't think his run would be long enough. So obviously we've got the open challenge. Comes to the ring, he's waiting for his opponent. Who's it turn out to be? RVD. Who do we get come out first? And we're going to talk about this in a minute because we'll get to it in a minute. So who do we see first? Katie Forbes brings out her guns with money that shoots out, whatever it is, twerking away, and then obviously RVD turns up. So interesting entrance. How do I put this in a nice way? Okay, I'm not a Katie Forbes fan. I'm going to say it. I'm not a Katie Forbes fan. I don't like her character. I don't understand I don't understand the persona that she tries to put over. I just don't get it. Because to me, she's an okay looking girl, but she's not like, she's no Trish Stratus. Do you know what I'm saying? She's not gorgeous or anything like that. She's just a kind of, for me, it's really hard because I don't want to be horrible. But, she's not, for me, she's not the most attractive girl in the room, right? So when she comes out doing all of this sort of kind of like twerky stuff and all that sort of, it just kind of like, I don't want to see it. I'm not interested. And those abs, right? I've said it before. I think they're fake, right? I'm sorry. I think they're implants. Right, because they just don't match the rest of her body, right? But anyway, that's for another story. So she comes out doing her thing. Now a lot of people are very sort of kind of like dismissive of RVD on socials, especially. They're like, oh, an old man, another old man in Impact, and all that kind of scenario. Yeah. But I don't know about you, but yes, he's not quite looking as thick. He's not, necessarily quite as quick as he used to be. We don't necessarily get as many moves as we used to, but the man can still go. And I'm still fully entertained by RVD. What about you?
Well, look at Ken Shamrock and look at Tommy Dreamer. They're in pretty much the same situation as Rob Van Dam. That they've come and they've gone. They've come and they've gone. And this is one of RVD's more solid performances since he's come back to Impact Wrestling. I thought he did, he had a bit of a stumble up the top rope near the end of the match, but the whole match itself was a pretty solid performance given how much they needed to put in. They didn't need to overdo it with RVD and Eddie Edwards because it was building up to something else anyway. And
yeah, I mean, they went for what, 10 minutes? I think I put down it was roughly 10 minutes. Let me just have a look. Yeah, I mean, we had a couple of near falls. I mean, I think the match was at a decent pace. Yeah. We saw that at the start showing off sort of kind of like the show of strength and the technical wrestling stuff was going on, and I think that was, that just goes to prove RVD is still got it. I think it was really, really good, a good solid match. We had a couple of near falls. We had a bit where we go out to the outside.
Yeah.
We had an incredible spot where Eddie was sort of kind of like hung over the guardrail. RVD off the side of the ring, spinning, leg drop, whatever you call it, on top of him. The guy's in his late 40s, like 48 or something. To be able to still continue to do that kind of move, because let's face it, it's the type of move that does actually impact on you as the person performing the move just as much as it does the person you hit, right?
Yeah.
He gets there, you fall backwards onto your coccyx. It's a painful move to do. And I guess when you're in your sort of kind of like late 40s, I know I'm 45. Like, trust me, if I fall, if I knock myself, it hurts way more these days than it did when I was in my 20s. I just feel for it. I know that the moves that he's made a name for himself. He has to do those moves, because otherwise, what's the point in watching RVD? Like, if he's not doing the famous moves, the stuff that he does, then that's when you're going to say, oh, he's past it. He has been.
He pretty much said that when he was part of cancel culture as well. That was the whole point of him being there, really, was to completely swerve the fans off of what he was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And when he turned heel, when he came back, it's like, oh, I don't want to show everyone my signature stuff. Everyone's seen that before.
Exactly.
He's showcasing his signature moves now, and he's doing them just as well as he did 20 years ago.
Oh, without doubt. I mean, what did we get to see? I mean, we saw the spinning leg drop. We saw Rolling Thunder. He was coming off the ropes. I'd love to have seen the Van Daminator, but we didn't see that.
Split-legged moonsault from the second rope.
Yes.
For him to jump and manage to pull that off is still very impressive.
It is, definitely. And of course, we get to the end of the match. I mean, we'd seen a couple of near falls either way, whatever. We get to the end of the match. RVD was a little bit on top. He goes for the 5-star. Unfortunately, comes up short for him, obviously. Eddie then obviously finishes him off. 1, 2, 3. Eddie retains. We expected that, right?
Yeah, win-win.
Yeah, there was never going to be any other winner in that match, but I was entertained. I think RVD was great. There was a comment in there. There was one little bit in there, and I thought this was quite funny from Josh Matthews, that Katie was using her assets.
Yeah,
I think there was a bit in there where she basically ran at him with her butt cheeks. I think ran at Eddie with her butt cheeks. Him. Yeah, which again was, it was cool. It was fun. So we get that. So RVD obviously leaves. Eddie celebrates, and then what do we get? Well, we get Eddie attacked by the one and only world-class maniac, Eric Young. Gives Eddie a bit of a beat down. Then goes on the mic, gives an amazing promo as only EY can do. Everything is in his time. It sort of kind of like sets up the match for next week, basically. So that was that. That was that. I mean, that was the end of it. It sets up the match. EY leaves the building. Eddie is obviously, a bit miffed, but, holding his head.
I was a bit miffed. Yeah, Eric Young's apparently taken Rich Swann out. I'm really miffed if that's actually true.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how this is all planned out. So the end of Slammiversary. I mean, have you not actually seen Slammiversary?
Oh, I've seen Slammiversary, and by seeing what he did to Rich Swann, and then attacking him a couple of weeks later on, and bashing his leg in even more. I really do hope it's just a work, and hopefully going on to Eric Young and Eddie Edwards, like Eddie Edwards is going after Sami Callihan sort of route. I don't want to see Rich Swann go.
No, I don't think Rich is gone. I definitely think it's a work. I think it's just a way of sort of like, you get Rich in there. He has a couple of matches because we want to see Rich, but maybe he still, he needs a bit of recovery time. So he comes back out, gets his recovery time. Apologies for the dog, everyone. Gets his little bit of recovery time, and then obviously, he gets built back into the story again, leading up to Bound for Glory. Now, I'm assuming that we're going to end up with maybe a three-way, something like Rich Swann, Eddie Edwards, EY, maybe something along those sort of lines. Or we're certainly,
match.
Yeah, I think that would be an amazing match. Possibly main event, I don't know, but we'll see. If not, we're definitely going to get a grudge match somewhere. Somewhere along the line between Rich Swann and EY. That's got to happen. No matter what, that's definitely going to happen. So that'll be interesting how that all pans out. One thing I wanted to talk about, though, Joe, was that what are your thoughts on Josh and Madison as a commentary team?
I think it's a lot better than Don Callis and Josh Matthews. There's a lot better chemistry between both of them. And when Madison Ray insults Josh Matthews, there's a lot more humor behind it rather than it seem more malicious.
Yeah.
It's just really funny the way she always has a way to shoot him down. Josh Matthews there promoting the Wrestle Microballers, and she's just there, oh, you've got no friends, have you, Josh?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So it's all about that. But I mean, I think that they're doing a really, really good job. Will this continue on after the pandemic? I'm not sure. I think that possibly we could see a return with Don, or maybe it may turn into a three-person.
Yeah.
We may get Don, Josh, and Madison on the commentary team, because it has been quite nice having having the female voice on there as well, especially as she's very obviously pro knockout, which is good. Always good for the knockouts to have that. So I think it's. So I've been quite enjoying it. I know there's a couple of people out there that haven't been enjoying it quite as much, but I think they're doing a good job. I also have a funny feeling that somewhere along the line we're going to get Matt Stryker. Now I know that he recently did. I think it was Don and Matt did commentary for an explosion, and I know a lot of people have been raving about it. I've seen that episode and it was good. So they've got a real chemistry, those two. So I mean, Don's good anyway. Matt Stryker is exceptional, as we all know. I mean, he was the main commentator for Lucha Underground, etc. Great guy. So it'd be interesting to see where they go with this commentary. Maybe they'll stick with those guys, Don and Matt on Explosion. Because I still think Explosion is going to be turned into a fully fledged second show eventually. I don't,
It'd be a good idea. They've got the momentum behind them now to start planning that far ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a 2-hour show, but I think it still stays an hour show. But I just think it would be good to able to sort of continue storylines.
Yeah.
Imagine if they had it on a Thursday night, for instance. So we got Tuesday night Impact, Thursday night Explosion.
Exactly.
It was only an hour, but it was that continuation leading into now they seem to be doing pay-per-views on the Saturday night. So maybe the Thursday you've got one day to wait, and then bam, we're in with the pay-per-view.
It's a great way to hype up the pay-per-view.
Exactly. They could sort of continue the storylines a little bit more on the Tuesday night show. Then we get sort of kind of a little bit more just to sort of kind of put the icing on the cake kind of thing. Ready for the pay-per-view on the Saturday. So it'd be interesting to see how that all pans out. I think it would be really good if they did that. And of course, you could split the titles down a little bit. There's thoughts that we might be getting the Impact Knockouts tag title, for instance.
Yeah, I'm pushing for that. I really want to see that because Kira Hogan, Tasha Steelz, and Jessica Havoc and Nevaeh are right up there for it.
Oh yeah, they're great. Absolutely superb. I mean, I think the Killer Death Machines are amazing. So what we need to do is, or what could potentially happen is, you could have the Knockouts title, say, on Impact, on Tuesday. You could have the tag titles on a Thursday on Explosion for the knockouts. We could have, like, I don't know, the world title on Impact, the X Division title on Explosion. Do you know what I mean? Just to break it up a little. I don't know, but all I know is that you could potentially highlight all the titles so much more if you just had that extra hour of TV time. And the extra hour would give you the time to be able to really develop a female tag division as well.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So it'd be interesting to see how that all pans out, as time goes on. So then we get Wrestle House.
Oh, fantastic! This has been a right laugh.
Yeah, I think that. I think Wrestle House is awesome. I think it's really funny. But it kicks off with the Deaners getting set for a toga party. Still going to throw in the dust. I think those two are hilarious. Shows off how good actually Cody and Jake are. They've got a real nice chemistry. I think they really well together. We then, for me, the highlight of Wrestle Talk for the night. We then head over to the Swingman, dressed in his animal print, his sort of kind of leopard print toga.
Leopard skin toga.
That was.
All the Mizarks are against Johnny Swinger. I think Johnny Swinger is bloody hilarious.
Yeah, no, it was funny. It was funny. And then, of course, he's talking to Crazy Steve and trying to persuade Steve that, leopard print is the way to go. I mean, all the usual Swingman quotes coming out in there, which I thought was quite funny. So that was good. We then moved on to obviously a drunk Taya Valkyrie, which again was very interesting and quite funny. Taya, she fell off the sofa and everything. I thought it was brilliant. But we then get into obviously Kylie turning up, just generally being Kylie, and Taya wasn't too impressed. Obviously, coming off the back of a loss to the number one contender. Yeah, and then she's sick all over the floor. She's like, ew. But then Alicia and Tommy Dreamer sort of kind of bring to our attention that we've got a couple of people missing from the toga party. Now, of course, then all of a sudden you realise that, obviously Lawrence D isn't around, nor was Bravo, and nor was Rosemary. So, obviously, that's obviously hinting towards that. Obviously, Larry D looks good as Lawrence. He's all sort of kind of, looking great. Got plenty of ring rust aftershave on, which was good. And
can't beat a bit of ring rust.
Yeah, exactly. Then we get obviously Swinger in his Shagatoga, which is interesting as well. And then of course, obviously that leads to the match between Steve and Swinger. Turns out that by throwing the dust in Steve's face, Swinger is made him blind by all accounts, even though clinically Steve already is blind. So that ends up with in a blindfold match, which obviously was quite funny. Again, it's tongue in cheek. I think if people, when you watch this, you have to take it very much in tongue in cheek. It's not meant to be serious. It's it's supposed to be sort of, it's based on the kind of like old school American sitcom style, right?
Yeah.
So it's a big
rep on reality TV as well.
Of course it is. It's a rep on reality TV. It's a rep on old school kind of sitcom comedy styling, kind of thing. So yes, take it for what it is. Stop looking at everything. It has to be like totally hardcore, believable. This is an entertainment. Wrestling is entertainment. You need the light entertainment. You need the heavy entertainment. You need something in the middle. This to me is sort of the light end of the scale. You have to take it for what it is. Of course, we end up with a Steve win. Everyone kind of helping out Steve a little bit to make sure Swinger loses as well, which I thought was really good. So obviously we get the Steve win. That then leads straight into Eddie Edwards, obviously out back, calling out Eric Young in true Eddie Edwards fashion. This is Eddie, we've seen this before, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
Eric, yo, where are you, Eric? We've got all the true Eddie Edwards style. Obviously he doesn't find him at that point. We then get, for me, one of the best promos for a pay-per-view that I've ever seen Impact do, which is the Eric Young promo, where you see all the many faces and the many personalities of Eric in the prison type scenario.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
It doesn't belong to them, it belongs to us thing, leading into the obviously Bang for Glory at the end, letting us know when that's going to be, etc. Which again is why I don't think Eric's going to win against Eddie at the moment, because obviously if he wins against Eddie, then that's kind of, I don't know, it then degrades the build to Bang for Glory a little bit, because we don't know where that's going to go. And I think that Eddie needs that time to grow. EY needs that time to build to whether I'm just speculating here. I've got no idea where we're going to end up with a Eddie Edwards versus EY world title shot, whether Richard Swann's going to be injected into it. So I got no idea. That's just a thought that I think that they're building to. Maybe Rich Swann's going to turn up next week and prevent EY from winning the match.
That'd be nice.
That could then prolong it, and then we get that progression, that moving on.
Yeah, I think we are going to get Eric Young and Eddie Edwards at Bound for Glory, and hopefully there'll be a bit of an extra stipulations for the match. They can't just make it a one-on-one match. It needs to be something a lot more hardcore if they're going to settle the rivalry.
Yeah, I think it's going to get to a point where it becomes very grudgy. It's going to be some kind of grudge match, I'm sure, regardless of what stipulation. I'd love to see a cage match. We haven't had any proper cage matches for a while, but can you imagine that? That would be really cool. Let's have a cage match.
Yeah. Look at what Sammy and Brian Cage did.
Yeah, it could be that could be awesome. Let's get some cage matches on the go at Bang for Glory, I say. But that's a really, really good promo. I really love it, or advertisement, whatever you want to call it, for BFG. It then cuts to Rhino, obviously calling out Reno Scum, and obviously Rhino wants his partner to be Heath. And so, he's obviously pushing the Heath for Impact, the hashtag.
Heath for Impact, everybody. Get it trending.
Come on, we need to get Heath signed. It's really, really important that Rhino gets his partner with kids.
Yeah, he's got kids.
It's important that we get Heath paid, so he's able to put some bread and water on the table for his children. So, we need that to happen, guys. So come on. Hashtag Heath for number 4 Impact. Let's do it. Let's get it out there. We got 1 week to go. Give Rhino his partner. Give Reno Scum a great match. So, however, Rhino did state that even if Heath isn't his partner, he's still going to kick their ass.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It makes no difference. Gore! 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 Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Oh, yeah. Don't Rhino doesn't disappoint in his promos.
He certainly doesn't. So, okay, so then we get Eddie Edwards, and in the ring. So we've had Eddie, obviously out the back. We've had a couple more bits and bobs going on. He's made his way into the ring, and now he's effectively calling out EY. He's He's not happy the way it all went down. He's not happy that EY blindsided him in the ring after his win. And he wants his match now. He wants his match now. You want a world title shot, EY? Let's have it now. Is that a good move from Eddie Edwards? Probably not.
Part of me was expecting Eric Young to just go ahead and do it there. Go ahead and do it there. As well.
I think it would have been pretty awesome to see Eddie defend his title twice in one night.
Yeah.
And win, of course.
Yeah, it was a great cliffhanger either way. So it was a fantastic promo from Eddie Edwards and Eric Young again.
Yeah, I mean, Eric come out and, like, for me, was just amazing. Like, you don't realise how much you miss a wrestler or a character until they come back and you see how good they are. And, like, I'm sorry, Vince McMahon, why did you not push this guy? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, right? No. The guy is amazing. He's an amazing character. I mean, we all know that not only can he be an amazing heel, but he's a great comedy character and everything. So, but for me, this is what EY is all about. This is ultimate character. The world-class maniac, and he really is a world-class maniac, isn't he, Joe?
Yeah, it's how I first saw Eric Young, and I saw part of me in Eric Young. Yeah, part of how I saw myself in Eric Young when he was there with Bram, the beard versus beard, world-class maniacs, really, really raining hell on guys like Jeff Hardy and Kurt Angle. And now he's going on for Eddie Edwards. He's brought that character right back to where he left off, and he's just picked it up perfectly.
Yeah. No, I must admit, I think Eric is outstanding. He is outstanding. In fact, forget the world-class maniac. He's just world-class wrestler. He is a world-class promo guy. He's a world-class in-ring performer. And he's a maniac. What more can you ask for in a performer for your wrestling promotion? Great promo, really, really good promo. But of course, Eric was going to do it on his time. It's going to happen on his time. It's not going to happen on EY's time. So that match is now set for next week. Eddie obviously decides that he's going to. Yeah, okay, well, I don't care. I'm going to kick your ass anyway. And he gets out of the ring, and then we get the brawl. We get Scott D'Amore getting shoved to the floor, the boss. So the boss is shoved to the floor. You don't look too happy about that.
I was expecting a backlash from that too. I was expecting Scott D'Amore to
get
punish Eddie Edwards for that.
Yeah, get proper annoyed.
So it really, really built the tension up. It was really good.
It was really solid. So we get the brawl, we get that. Obviously, it all gets broken up. EY then gets taken out of the back. And then it cuts to, because this is obviously the section where we're getting all the sort of kind of like promo-y stuff going on. And then cuts to an interview with Gia Miller. Now, this is probably, like, you've only just been introduced to Gia, haven't you? I mean, she's obviously been doing like the backstage interview stuff now for pretty much since the start of the pandemic. So we're now getting quite comfortable with her. She started off a little bit shaky, but now she's very comfortable. I think she's coming really, really comfortably into the role now.
She's definitely settled in very quickly. I've watched all the tapings now from End of Rebellion up to Slammiversary and after Slammiversary, and she's settled into the role really, really quickly.
Yeah, she's doing really well.
She's got back and forth with Moose, back and forth with anyone who's there with her, and the interaction's fantastic.
Yeah, I think she's doing a great job. But she's there and she's interviewing, Rohit, someone I'm very, very pleased to see finally get a belt on Impact Wrestling. I mean, he's been around now. He's been around for a good 5 or 6 years, I think, with the brand.
Yeah.
On and off. I mean, he started. Obviously, he came in through the. What do they call it now?
Global Force Wrestling, wasn't it? And he did that. He came through during their training program.
That's right. Yeah, so he came in through that. So that maybe 3 or 4 years ago now. So, but one thing we know Rohit can do is he can give a great promo. And I think at that moment, they gave him the perfect opportunity to show that. And I've written down here, great promo, in capital letters, because I thought his promo was really good, and I loved his closing catchphrase. So he's been thinking about this promo. He's probably been like, in fact, it's probably, because he tells me that he told me that he just walks around the house promoing all the time, practicing different things, coming up with different phrases, different catchphrases, different things like that. But he ended with something new, something fresh. There was none of the, mocha skin manimal, none of that stuff going on. And we ended with, who can defeat Rohit? Now that's a new line, right? That's a new line. I've not seen that before. Who can defeat Rohit? I thought that was really cool. I don't know. I think he's going to have a reign for a little while. I think they're going to keep on. They're going to give him a successful reign, even if it only goes up to Bound for Glory. He'll get I think that would be really cool to see. It'll probably be Chris Bay versus Rohit Raju for the title there, maybe, or something along those lines. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen there.
Or an Ultimate X would be a good one to bring back for that. Even if Chris Bay wins it there, just something, because Rohit Raju's been Ultimate X at least twice.
Yes.
So there's the experience factor versus at least 2 or 3 other people in the match. It'd be really good, especially if TJP and Falabar aren't being used in Bound for Glory anywhere else. So put TJP in there.
I have a feeling though that we're going to see those two versus the Machine Guns, but Motor City Machine Gun. I've got a funny feeling
that'd be a dream match.
That would be incredible.
TJP is flawless almost flawless. He's one of the near picture perfect athletes in the ring.
Oh, he's clean. He is so clean. Everything he does is clean. It's interesting because the match that they had last week, I mentioned on my review that I felt that Chris Bay had a couple of slips in that match. There was a couple of things that didn't quite come off, but like TJP is just flawless, like the entire match, and he had to work the hardest in that match.
Oh yeah,
because at the end of the day, both of those two guys throughout the majority of that match were coming at him. Both of those guys got a rest, but they were coming at TJP. He worked the entire match like non-stop, and it was just such a shame that he lost, really, because he, again, I know I read somewhere recently that he's not bothered about winning titles. He's there to help enhance the talent, push them forward. He's really not bothered anymore. He's won his titles. He's been Cruiserweight champ, he's been X-Division champ. Yeah, he's won his titles. He has been I think he's been a tag team. I think he's won a tag team before.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember with who else, but
before my time,
he may have done. I'm not sure. But if he hasn't, it would be really cool if there was a title for him to win. It would be, for him to win maybe a tag title with Fala would be really cool. I know that he's there and he's saying that he really, really wants to, help Fala, really bring him to the forefront, which is great. Fala's looking great these days as well. He's dropped a good. It's got to be like 60, 70 pounds, I would imagine. And he's upped his tempo. I've noticed he's wearing boots again now. I would imagine that that's probably because of the pandemic, maybe. Maybe they said that, you can't go barefoot in the ring. I don't know. Yeah.
Probably, but it matches the attire that him and TJP are wearing, so it all works out.
Maybe that works. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's just the reason. I don't know. But I think those two, they definitely deserve a shot, and they would make great tag team champs without doubt. Even though I still think we're probably going to end up with some sort of tag tournament, and maybe it'll end up with the North taking them on, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting. I think a much better program for the North would possibly be something that builds up to a match with the Good Brothers.
Yeah, or something that if they fail the next big match they have, they split up. Because there's that speculation that Ethan Page might be going to AEW at the end of the year. So, and Josh Alexander recently on Twitter has said that he's ready to just go solo wherever he goes now.
Possibly. I'd be very surprised if Ethan left Impact. I mean,
I would be too. I think he's fantastic on Impact Wrestling, and both him and Josh Alexander are Triple Crown contenders.
No, exactly. I mean, both of those guys could go for the world title. They've both got the skill level. They're fantastic. Why couldn't they? So that's interesting. That's interesting the way all that's going to pan out. But I think it was a great promo from Rohit, and I'm really, really looking forward to what's going to come next for him. I think he's great. Then that leads into locker room talk. I don't know what your thoughts are on locker room talk, but I think it's great. This week, co-hosts were the Rascals. I love the fact that they appreciated that there was plenty of green in the area. I thought that was great. And obviously the guest was Ace and Fulton. They come out. I love the bit where Fulton is sort of kind of trying to squeeze in between the Rascals on the bench. I thought that was really funny. And eventually, obviously, who gets up first? Wentz gets up, sits on the end, and then you see
Trey sliding off.
Sorry, Des. You see Des sliding.
That's it, Des.
Sliding. That was funny. I like that. He sort of went to like a worm and sort of kind of like that was brilliant. And then obviously Fulton spreads himself out to fill up the entire couch as he's a huge man. And he really is a huge man as well. Let's say I've seen Fulton in person, and he is a ginormous guy. So obviously, Madison ends up pissing them off and whatever. They go. We then end up with the Rascals and Madison. She works this so well. She's very good at this.
Yeah.
And then obviously she gets an invite to the treehouse, and she's like, no. And then, that was the end of locker room talk, which was quite good. We then get the ICU promo, which was obviously aimed towards RVD. So, obviously a couple of weeks ago we had a bit of a clash, which was setting up a potential feud with RVD. So we get the ICU promo, obviously Sami Callihan setting up a program there going forward, I guess, with RVD, which is going to be interesting. Both, hardcore guys. And I think it's sort of kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like setting up dream matches for Sami, isn't it?
Yeah.
1 minute he wants to, he's wanting to battle Ken Shamrock, and then he tags with him, getting to do programs with them. Now he's getting to do a program with RVD. It's almost like he's sort of saying, look, these are the guys I want to work with going forward. And also, by ending up potentially beating them or whatever, or having great matches with them, it's also giving him that rub from those kind of big name guys, right?
Definitely.
So
Katie Forbes is the one who dragged Sami into this rivalry too. Yeah. So again, she's backstage just being a bit of a shit stirrer basically. So Sami Callihan really wasn't intending to feud with RVD. Katie Forbes says, "Are you staring at me?" And then goes crying to RVD, and then when Sami Callihan's coming up to the face, said, "Yeah, but it's Katie Forbes and RVD's flying out with a chair, whacking Sami Callihan." So crazy. Sami wasn't going to take that line down, and it was good to see him go back to the ICU promo like that. Yes. I've been waiting for that for ages, but the more darker side rather than in the ring with the phone.
Yeah, did you see the way they kept doing those glitchy things where he's wearing the face mask and all that?
That's the sort of stuff I missed. It reminds you of what he was like with OVE as well. That's the sort of Sami Callihan I want to see again. The really, really nasty dark side, like he started off with Ken Shamrock and Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely the way to go. And we're now starting to get that build for wherever that's obviously going to go. Then obviously that goes into, for me, which was probably the promo, or the big night of the night. The big night of the night was the EC3.
Oh, fantastic.
And the first thing that I've got on my notes here was that the music was amazing. like underlying music all the way through this was really cool and really kind of fit him. It reminded me a little bit of the style of Sons of Anarchy. I don't know whether you've seen Sons of Anarchy, but it kind of gave me that. I'm actually a big fan of Sons of Anarchy, so I picked it up straight away. It has those sort of kind of like undertones of Sons of Anarchy running through it. And yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really good. A solid promo, what you come to expect from EC3. He's so good at doing these kind of Ignis stuff. He's very good at it. He knows, it's like to get the camera angle right. So he's looking down and you get he's in the corner of the camera type thing. Then all of a sudden it glitches out to him, getting the full upper body torso shot, and you see the wall in the background that he's famous for doing his promos to at the moment. And he's sort of talking about the destruction of the TNA World Title.
Yeah, TNA is the curse over EC3 shoulders that he needs to get rid of.
Yeah, he needs to get rid of it and destroy it. And he even talks about it sort of kind of holding back Moose as well.
Yeah.
You see now, I have this thing in my head that because I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a few guys on the Impact roster now that have got the ZNA on their ring attire, and there was something else on there now, which is #BLM.
Yeah.
Now I'm not sure what the BLM is.
That's the Black Lives Matter movement.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Black Lives Matter. Okay, fine. So that I don't think that's relevant then. So, but the ZNA I think is.
Yeah.
So you've got Eddie Edwards has got it. Moose carries it. I think Willie Mack carries it.
I thought I saw it on Willie Mack this week, and I'm pretty sure Ethan Page or Josh Alexander had it at one time as well on some of their attire. Or I think they have the classic TNA attire. So
I'm kind of starting to think that this ZNA thing is going to turn into something. I mean, we all know that during the TNA days, there was the group of wrestlers that were all good mates that got together and they called themselves ZNA. So it'd be interesting to see how all of that starts to pan out now. Leads a few because they're actually sort of kind of, it's now a thing. It is a thing on the show.
It's all subliminal as well. So you've really got to just you'll pick it up if you pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely something going there. So it's all about basically destroying the title, and that's the only way EC3 can be free. EC3 can be free.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's controlling his narrative. It's just like he said he's going to do. He's just it makes you wonder what the hell was he doing at WWE. Vince McMahon didn't like him to start off with. That was made perfectly clear. So as soon as the EC3 come up from NXT, Vince McMahon was pissed off that he was drafted up.
Yeah. I just again, what a waste of talent. What a waste of talent. Well, why do you take these guys and just like sit on them and completely waste it? I just don't get it. Anyway, that then moves into, which for me, although it was a solid match, it was probably it was almost like a down moment for the show. But we headed into the Brian Myers versus Willie Mack.
So, I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really entertaining, this match.
Oh, really? I mean, I put it down there. It was a solid match. That's what I've written.
Definitely.
It was a solid match. Was I entertained? Not as much as I think we could have been. I think Brian did a really good job of nullifying kind of Willie Mack for majority of the match, which I guess was probably the game plan from the start. Let's keep Willie slow. Let's keep Willie grounded as much as possible. That kind of thing. So, let's face the fact, Brian is the most professional wrestler. So, he obviously had a game plan, and that's what he went out to do. What I find interesting now is it's the second or third week running that Matt Cordona's been mentioning on commentary with regards to their podcast. I think because Brian and Matt have a podcast, don't they?
Yeah.
So, but their podcast was highlighted in the corner. It was mentioned that Brian had a podcast with his friend Matt Cordona, whatever. I thought it was interesting that That's 2 weeks in a row that Matt has been mentioned by name. They didn't have to do that.
No, they didn't. Well, they're going to work with someone like Brian Myers. They might as well promote as much as they can. We do it with Tommy Dreamer and House of Hardcore.
Exactly. I mean, they're doing it with the Good Brothers and Talking Shopomania, or Talking Shop podcast. They are highlighting all these things. I think that's all part and parcel of sort of kind of the deals that they're making with these guys. They're saying, well, we'll promote you guys, just as much. We want you to be successful. The more successful you are, the more people are going to want to watch our show.
Definitely.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So
give credit where credit is due, and if that's the right term of phrase to use, I'm not entirely sure.
I think it's a great tactic. I think it's a great tactic for the promotion. Like, maybe they can't pay as much as an AEW, but, they're willing to work with them as opposed to have them work for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a two-way sort of kind of deal. It's a two-way thing. So that's interesting the way that obviously pans out. It was a good match, a good solid match.
There's a lot of smash mouth from Willie Mack in this. There was a big change in attitude since Rich Swann's been injured, which is something I've really, really enjoyed seeing. You got to see him change his character a bit when he's with the Deaners.
Yes.
And now it's completely flipped the other way around. He's turning a lot more nastier.
Oh, yeah.
He's angry. He's really pissed off. And Brian Myers interrupting his interview last week just sent him over the edge.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely. But we get the Myers win. Now, I got to be honest, I was expecting that. Because obviously, his first match was really good against Eddie. And he gave a really good account of himself. There's some great stuff going on. But then obviously, he lost. His opening match, he lost, which we'd expect. You can't just suddenly come in and beat the world champion.
Not again.
No, unless your name's Del Rio.
Austin Aries.
Yeah, that's it, Austin Aries. But they don't do that anymore. I don't think they're not in the. That's all GFW stuff, right?
Yeah.
I know they moved on from doing that. I think they've learned their lessons on that stuff. So, he loses his opening match. It was a great match, but he loses it. So he comes here today, or this week, has his match with Willie Mack, gets his win. So, again, you're putting him over. He's being put over. He's doing a good job. He's a shame to Willie. Willie had his little X Division run. He had his little bit of time, but since then he's not quite been doing so well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see where Willie goes from here, because now obviously he's had a loss in the ring to Brian. So that's going to be interesting how that goes. We then move on to the Heath promo.
This is fantastic.
Again, it's all very sort of political driven. It's a bit like some sort of politician or whatever, but like more of a, I don't know, if a politician was a wrestler, I don't know, maybe it's a bit Ace Ventura, not Ace Ventura, what's his name, Jesse the Body, Jesse the Body, but he's a politician now, and you've got what's his Kane as well. I've forgotten his real name. From WWE, he's a politician.
Oh, Glenn Jacobs.
That's it. He's a mayor or something, isn't he? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, a wrestler turns politician. That's what Heath's trying to do, I guess. With the, and he's promoting the hashtag Heath #4 for Impact. So make sure we get that trending, guys. Second time we mentioned that on the show. Heath for Impact. Yeah.
Heath for Impact, guys.
Gotta get that trending. Would be really, really cool. So we get another good promo from him, which I really, really liked. Obviously, he wants to get in the ring and help his pal Rhino in that tag match. So that's a big thing there. We then move on to Wrestle House. I thought we'd seen Wrestle House, but anyway, we move on to Wrestle House. We get the Lawrence D and the Rosemary stuff, the love triangle with Bravo. Bravo finally stands up and gives Larry a punch.
Tommy Dreamer tells him to man up, and boy did Bravo end up regretting it.
Oh, he did. Yeah. So he goes out there, and basically, Lawrence turns back into Larry, and because Rosemary's obviously was trying to let him down, but obviously he's sticking up for obviously sticking up for Rosemary because clearly he's in love with Rosemary now. So even though he hasn't taken a bite from the apple yet, he's already in love. So it's all good. And then obviously we end up with the with the match set for that night, which is obviously Bravo versus Larry D. Again, drunk Taya Valkyrie. Like, I'm sorry, but how cool is that? You know, drunk Taya Valkyrie is very funny. So yeah, then we move into the match, and basically Bravo takes one on the chin. You know, he goes straight down, looks over at Rosemary, you know, like gives her the googly eyes, gets back up, and then he takes the best hand in the house, and Larry obviously victorious. And then obviously Bravo, then we get the sort of kind of, he gets out of the ring, and, you know, we get the whole, you know, I'm in love with you thing from Bravo to Rosemary and da-da-da-da and all that. She's all shocked. What? You know, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But you could tell deep down that she's like really pleased. And then of course, you know, Bravo's trying to break up with Taya. That's kind of what's going down there. Yeah, and so yeah, that's where all that ends with Rosemary now versus Taya match for next week. You know, during Wrestle House. Match time! So that should be interesting how that all pans out. Yeah, again, like I said, if you take Wrestle House in the way that you're meant to, then you'll enjoy it. You know, you just got to let everything go and just enjoy it. It's fun. It's good. I enjoyed it a lot. So then we get the start of the 30-minute knockout Iron Man match. So never been seen before in the knockouts division. So it's a first main event. Jordan Grace, or should I say, Jordan Grace versus the knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo. And you know, I think they set this up beautifully.
Yeah, it seemed a bit one-sided at times, but every time Jordan Grace had fought back, she fought back the way you'd expect her to.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
Deonna Purrazzo is a fantastic technical wrestler, and she just proved that.
But did you not think that the start of the match? I mean, Jordan got the upper hand during that section when they were doing all the holds, the technical wrestling stuff. You know, the wrist locks, headlocks. You know, and all that kind of, you know, that sort of the reversals that were going on. And Jordan just seemed to get the upper hand at that moment.
It took one little mistake, and then Jordan Grace was screwed for a very long time.
Yeah, basically. So I think you know, but it also showed how good Jordan can be also when it comes to the mat technical wrestling side of things. You know, she's not just a powerhouse. She really is an exceptionally good technical wrestler, which, you know, like I said, you've got to see that. You've got to see how good both of them were. You know, they're not just out there to look good or, you know, for the guys. They're out there to wrestle, you know.
Definitely.
And I think they did a really, really good job. So I felt that for the first part, you know, first sort of 5-10 minutes of the match, I thought Jordan had the upper hand, to be honest. We then went outside the ring, which you would say was probably, you know, we started off with a technical wrestling, which you would expect Deonna to be on top, but it turned out
Jordan was on top.
Yeah. We go outside the ring, and Deonna takes control. Now, this is kind of like a role reversal thing going on here because, you know, outside the ring, you would expect the powerhouse Jordan to possibly, you know, take the upper hand.
Yeah.
You know, with more sort of kind of power moves using turnbuckles,
the side of the ring, using the rails and everything like that.
Exactly. But it turned out that Deonna takes control over this, doesn't she? So.
Oh dear.
Yes, it's almost like a role reversal thing, and then of course we start to see the real you know intelligence of Deonna Purrazzo take on, where she starts now picking on that left arm of Jordan Grace. She's picked her body part and she's gonna work that right the way to the end of the match now. But something which, maybe not everyone would have picked up, I don't know. But during this section, we then get a mention of Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that.
Now, in reality, I mean, basically, since obviously all the bad feeling or whatever went down, she gets stripped. We've had nothing.
Yeah.
It's almost like she was never there, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden tonight, she got married on the weekend, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden tonight, Tessa gets mentioned.
Very, very, very. I don't know what the right word is. It's very well. Jordan Grace has beaten her at least twice, so to dismiss it wouldn't be right. She's beaten.
Why bring it up though? Why bring it up? Why does Tessa need to be brought up at this point? Because what they did was they effectively, they talked about Tessa in quite a good light. They weren't talking badly of her.
No.
They were bringing her up as a very credible opponent that Jordan had beaten a couple of times. Just goes to show she can take on the best. That kind of light. So
they pointed out that Tessa was a former world champion as well.
Yeah, exactly. They pointed these things out, which they haven't done. And this is the first time that it's been mentioned for me. I don't recall any other time that she's been talked about at all. Right?
No, not since everything broke down.
So I thought that was very interesting that they brought Tessa up during commentary. It's almost like a foreshadowing. It's almost like a hint. It may be Tessa's on her way back. And she's pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but maybe.
Maybe it's just a shout out because she was getting married. I know the tapings are a couple of weeks in advance, but they got the timing right for when she's literally just got married. And congratulations to Tessa Blanchard and Dagger as well.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but I just thought it was interesting she got mentioned at that point. We've not heard nothing about her for months now. So we then get the 15-minute point. We've got no falls, nothing. No. So it's still at 0-0 at 15 minutes. That's a big thing. We then continue on. We're continuing on. We get Deanna is in full control of the match at this point. Right, full control of the match at this point.
Yeah.
Now, Jordan then suddenly out of the blue, we start getting a comeback from her. Right, she then pretty much looks quite badass actually, and gets like a second wind, and the tempo ups just like that.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the speed all of a sudden it turns into another gear? And there's an up in tempo, loads of stuff's going on. So I thought that was really good. I think to be honest, Jordan's comeback, that suplex off the second rope was badass, wasn't
Brilliant. Yeah, again, it's good in-ring storytelling. It's just showing that Deanna Prazo has just come in, but these two are bouncing off each other already, and you think they've been fighting each other for ages.
Oh, it was just really, really good. We then get the choke out. We get the first fall from Jordan Gray. She chokes out Deanna Prazo. Were you expecting that?
I was expecting her to apply it, and I was expecting Deanna Prazo to get the fall before Jordan Grace would. So when Jordan Grace got the first fall, I was clapping my hands. I was really, really pleased. And I part of me was thinking Jordan Grace has got this because it was so close to the finish of the match. When she got she got Deanna Prazo to pass out basically.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. It was like literally with I think it was like 5 minutes to go or something. So it was incredible. So eventually when Deanna comes round, she then goes nuts, right? She goes absolutely nuts. She's obviously realised there's not a lot of time left. I've got to at least get one back. If it obviously with a draw, she retains. So she's like, well, I got to at least get a draw. I've got to at least get a draw. So we then continue on. The tempo that Deanna works at that moment in time was incredible. So she goes nuts. The ref then gets caught in the corner, Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
which you know, takes the ref out for a little while, which is interesting. Then we get yes, then obviously we get Jordan trying to get the ref,
Yeah. She
going again.
waxed Diana Praza with the Grace driver, and she should have got another fall then.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Doesn't work out, and as soon as Diana back to Diana Praza, she's there with the belt, whacks her straight in the back of the head.
Right, knocks her down. The ref is just about to come to, just in time, and we get Diana gets the 1, 2, 3. So she gets a pin. We're then at 1-1. Now Diana and Jordan then go at it again. They really are going at it. And apparently we've got like 2 minutes to go at this point, or a minute and a half to go, or something crazy. So it's now starting to get really interesting. But eventually we get Diana Peraza ends up with the 2 falls, 2-1. She gets the arm bar in, and obviously she gets the win with Jordan Grace tapping out. She'd been working on that. Now this is where this is clever, because it goes back to the fact that Diana had obviously been working on her arm.
Yeah, stomping on her hand, stomping on her elbow.
Yeah, she was
worked her arm the entire match. So it just shows that there's no little wasted movement when Diana Peraza is doing something. She's like TJP, she's like Kylie Ray, she's like Eddie Edwards and Josh Alexander. Whenever they're doing something, there's very little wasted movement.
It's all purpose as well. There's always purpose to everything that they do.
Yeah.
So we get into that section. She gets her in the arm bar. She ends up getting her in the double arm bar with the left arm, which is the one she'd been working. As soon as she gets that left arm that she'd been working on, that was it. She just couldn't. Jordan just couldn't hold on to the end of the match. And then we get Diana Peraza winning 2-1. I've written here, wow.
Yeah, I said yesterday this was a match of the year contender. People will say it probably won't be, but it was definitely a game changer. For the whole knockouts division, it was something that people have been wanting to see for a while. They wanted to see a Iron Man match. Doesn't matter who it was. They picked the right people for it.
I think the important thing is that, effectively, you say you have the right 2 people, the right environment. They told an amazing story. We had you get the upper hand, you then, the other one gets the upper hand. It was very evenly matched, regardless of who wins.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it was a very evenly matched, match. They both went out really, really good, and I think they left everything out there. Well done, ladies. Did a fantastic job. You main evented night 2 of Emergence, and you did the promotion proud. As a fan, I have to say I thought it was superb, absolutely superb.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I thought for a main event, it was a fantastic choice. There's no point in starting the night off with a 30-minute match like that, because you're just going to forget it. But they started off with Eddie Edwards, and we've not forgotten that match.
It was just outstanding.
The card was again. It's just the card was set out just how you should set out a decent match card.
No worries. Right. Okay. So that was the end of night 2. I don't think there's really anything else to say. What was the highlight for you, Joe?
The main highlight for me was Willie Mack and Brian Myers. I thought their match was really good. You got a lot more attitude from Willie Mack, and I also enjoyed the bits at Wrestle House with Crazy Steve and Johnny Swinger, and then Rosemary realizing that she just wanted to play about with Johnny Bravo and torture his soul, and the fact that it's suddenly gotten really serious, she's realized, oh crap, what have I done? And then Taya Valkyrie's now got a match with her next week because she wants to fight over who has control of Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Rosemary wants to take his soul. Yeah. Taya Valkyrie just wants to play with him.
Yeah.
Oh, control him. Sorry.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we're at with all of that, but it'd be interesting to see where it all goes. So for me, the highlight for me was the incredible promo stuff from Eric. I thought his promo, in-ring promo stuff, was great. The Iron Woman match or Iron Man match was insanely good. And I love the EC3 Vignet. I thought that was
not
amazing.
dismissing all the promos and that they were fantastic, but they'll probably stand out to a lot of people. So I picked the ones that people will probably overlook.
Oh yeah, without doubt. I mean, I just think it was incredible thing. Right, so that brings us to the end of this week's edition of Bison Talks Impact with my special guest, back from hospital and looking good, wearing his new T-shirt and looking fit and healthy. So thank you for joining me today, Joe.
You're welcome.
No worries. Do you want to let everybody know where they can find you on the socials?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at Joe-ker empty space. That's the main place you can find me. If you want to contact me on there, by all means go ahead. If you want to find me on Facebook, enter the hashtag empty space into the void. You'll probably find some posts from me there from wrestling groups. So
that's it.
Yeah, that's it really.
I couldn't recommend following Joe enough. He's a very interesting person to follow on social. So he's definitely worth a follow, guys. If you're wanting to know where you can find me, well, you can find the Bison at Lord Bison 45 on Twitter. I generally do most of my wrestling stuff on there. I am around as obviously Jason Honk on other social medias, your Instagram and Facebook, etc. You should be able to find me on there. I do comment quite a lot on a lot of the wrestling groups and different things like that. So if you want to have a chat, you're more than welcome. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And head over, and leave a comment. Leave a comment. Quite happy, Joe and I, quite happy to communicate with you guys on the comment section. We love to hear what you guys think, about our show, about the content. So please don't forget to leave us a comment. And why not head over to the Total Nonstop Impact Network channel on YouTube or any of the other podcast outlets, SoundCloud, iTunes, etc. Give us a subscribe. Smash any bells so you never miss any listens of any of the great content.
Exactly. Been waiting for that for ages. I'd missed that. And don't forget that they're also available on Twitter at We Talk Impact and on Facebook. So don't forget to follow us on there also. That way you never get to miss any of our great content. So that's it for today, guys. All that's left to say is, take care. This is me, Bison. That is Joe. This is Bison Talks Impact with our special edition on Emergence Night 2.